Hey beautiful souls, welcome back to Seguras Crafts, where creativity meets healing, and every piece you make tells a story. I'm Nala, veteran, crafter, and advocate for mental health through art. Today, we're crafting with intentions and creating a bold, vibrant card inspired by the non-binary flag as part of celebration of Pride Month. So let's take a breath, set intentions, and make something meaningful together. To begin, I did a bunch of pre-cut strips from cardstock in yellow, white, purple, and black. These are the colors of the non-binary flag. Non-binary is an identity for people who don't exclusively identify as male or female. Some may feel like a mix of genders, no gender at all, or something fluid entirely. The non-binary flag represents this spectrum. Yellow for those who identify outside of the binary. White for many gender or agender individuals. Purple for a blend of masculinity and femininity. Black for those who identify as none of the above. So I did try to do a little bit of a research. I wanted to make sure I got that right. So if I got any of those wrong or I misinterpreted, please let me know in the comments so that I can correct that. But I am not making anything definite. This is kind of what I learned about those colors. So I laid my strips diagonally across a scrap of white cardstock that I had. And listen, don't stress about perfection here. This is about expression. Glue, place, trim, repeat. That's it. Some strips didn't quite fit. Some of the edges were off, and sometimes I guess I must have not cut them straight, because you know how I feel about the straight cutting. So I guess I must have not cut them straight, and so it looked a little bit off, but it's okay. That's the point, right? This card, like identity, does not need to be clean cut to be real. So when I ran out of one color, I worked with what I had, because that's what non-binary people do every day. They piece together visibility, joy, and safety in a world that still asks them to explain their existence. So that inspired me to not be completely caught up in what's considered to be perfect or supposed to be, and realize that I'm making this my reality. I'm making it, and this is what I believe it's supposed to be, and perfection doesn't exist, right? So this is where I want to also bring in one of my favorite DBT skills. This goes back to radical acceptance. And no, it doesn't mean accepting disrespect, discrimination, or hate. I always make sure I clarify that, because I never want people to think that I'm saying accept the abuse. No. Radical acceptance just means that I accept that some people will not see me clearly, but I no longer let that define me. For anyone who is binary or just trying to be their full self in a world that doesn't understand, radical acceptance says, your identity isn't wrong because it's unfamiliar to others. Their misunderstanding is not your truth. You don't have to shrink to fit someone else's box. You're already whole. So I wanted to make sure I put that out there. Once my background was done, I added a hand-lettered sentiment that I wrote out myself. It just says, loving beyond labels. I wrote it with a yellow, purple, and black gel pen. And then I fuzzy cut it for that, little intimate hand touch or handmade touch. I wanted this phrase to feel like a hug, and I wanted it to whisper to anyone who's ever felt erased, boxed in, or invisible. So then I went ahead and I trimmed down the panel. I matted it on some white cardstock. A piece of the strip fell off because it wasn't fully glued on, but it was an easy, quick, pop it back in, glue it, done, right? And then I really wanted those colors to pop. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put it on white cardstock so that it can kind of help bring those colors out and not keep it hidden in that background. It deserved to have its shine, if that makes sense, right? So then I started thinking, I wanted to feel like a hug. I wanted it to feel embraced. So I pulled out a stamp that I had. I don't remember the name of it right now. I will place it on the screen. But I saw that the stamp, it was two bears hugging each other and keeping each other warm. And I was like, this is perfect. So I chose that stamp and I added some warmth and personality. I used some Copic markers to color it in, keeping it light and keeping the tone of the color theme that we had going on. I went ahead and after I colored that, I die cut it and placed it at the lower corner of my card. Then, of course, to finish it off, I had to add my Opal glow rhinestones. But because joy is resistance and beauty, well, that's yours to define. So if you ever felt like you don't fit the mold, this card is for you. If you're non-binary, questioning, or just learning, you are valid and you are not alone. Let me know in the comments, what does loving beyond labels mean to you? Or tell me one color that helps you feel like you. If you loved this look, you should definitely check out the Unfiltered Friendship stamp set from Segura's craft store, where emotional truth and humor comes together in every sentiment. And we always talk about emotions being valid and lifting up those we love. Thanks for crafting with me today. Keep creating and keep exploring who you are. And remember, your life is the art of this world. Thanks for crafting with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell for more mindful moments. And always remember, you are beautiful, you matter, and your life is the art of this world. See you next time.